between two of the best going today.
For the better part of 20 years in professional wrestling, the Latina Sensation Mercedes Martinez is many things. She has been a standard bearer in Shimmer women athletes, in Mae Young Classic tournaments for the WWE, and now, though a lot of people may never have expected it, Mercedes Martinez, the Phoenix of Rise, and in her own words, at the conclusion of the epic, record-breaking 75-minute Iron Woman match with Tessa Blanchard at Rise 10 Insanity, Mercedes Martinez the victor in New Phoenix of Rise in that matchup, and she said, though this may be seen as a developmental title, if you want to become better, you have to wrestle the best, and in her words, I quote, bitches, I am at the top of my game.
And if anybody at some point is able to take the Phoenix of Rise from Mercedes Martinez, they will have truly beaten the best in professional wrestling in Mercedes Martinez. And though this isn't a title matchup, it is a huge opportunity for Ariel Monroe during the course of this contest. If there's some way, somehow, that she could skate through this matchup, pull out a victory against Mercedes Martinez in a non-title matchup, imagine what the future would be for Ariel Monroe in title contention. It's not this matchup. It's not a throwaway match. It doesn't. It's not that the result of this matchup doesn't mean something. If Ariel Monroe can beat Mercedes Martinez, that absolutely means something for the future.
Going back to Rise 6 brutality, Ariel Monroe, speaking of a non-title match, it was a non-title match that landed Ariel her jobs with Rise and with Shimmer. Going toe-to-toe with Shimmer champion Nicole Savoy at Rise 6 Brutality in Los Angeles, California, came up just barely short in that match with someone who is the champion of the premier women's wrestling organization in the world, Shimmer Women Athletes, and Ariel landed her job with both companies.
And sometimes you don't have to pull out the victory. It was because of the showing she put up in that match against Nicole Savoy. The skill that she was able to display as a professional wrestler inside the ring. That's what did her wonders in professional wrestling and got her further opportunities. But you know she wants to win this one tonight.
Now, if you've ever heard some of the different podcasts that maybe I or some Rise participants and Rise roster members have done, this is no exaggeration. Ariel Monroe is one of the reasons that Rise exists. I had the opportunity to go back down to a Shine show in the summer of 2016, and I met a couple of young ladies. One of them was ACR, the other was Ariel Monroe, and in conversations with them, an idea started to form. What if these girls from Florida had another training option? What if they had like a wrestling college of some kind? What if we could get them a victory here with Mercedes Martinez? What if we could get them in the ring?
A finishing school, if you will.
What if we could get them with Mercedes Martinez? What if we could get them with Aja Kong? And Ariel was part of the motivation for why this concept of developing tomorrow's women athletes even exists. And now Ocean Cyclone now drives her right on her head.
Mercedes Martinez thought that was 3. Took issue with the referee's count. Looked fair to me. Only 2.
That summer of 2016 would start the course of events that would give birth to Rise, developing tomorrow's women athletes, where we would discover talent not just for Rise, but so many talents who have debuted in Shimmer since then and have become cornerstones of the rosters of both companies.
And several women have gotten opportunities with Impact Wrestling as well.
Mercedes Martinez, the 5th Phoenix of Rise, the yardstick, in my opinion, not just in Rise, but of all of women's professional wrestling. If any wrestler can mix it up with Mercedes Martinez, if they can hang with Mercedes, they are definitely one of today's best and tomorrow's brightest.
And obviously the next one to get a shot at the Phoenix of Rise at Legendary will be Kylie Ray. That no-rope matchup.
No ropes, submission only. Kylie Ray getting her second shot at the Phoenix of Rise Championship Mercedes Martinez, that's gonna be brutal.
Should be one for the ages, but the question is, does she have the tools? Does she have enough to take the championship from Mercedes Martinez, who is absolutely at the top of her game? Even this far into her career, I would say she's at her best. Usually a veteran in their later years, after competing for nearly 20 years as a professional wrestler, their body will have broken down. They wouldn't be as sharp as before. She gets a near fall right there on Ariel Monroe, but Mercedes Martinez, she is at her best right now. She took off a couple of years to let nagging injuries heal and got herself back into 100% condition. Fine-tuned all of her scientific wrestling skills. And I gotta be honest, I don't know if anybody could take that title from her.
Big Swole, some more story here people may not necessarily know. This is Ariel Monroe's first match back in the ring in a couple of months. So on the topic of nagging injuries, Big Swole dealing with a couple of things which seemingly have subsided. I won't go into the personal details, but this is her first match in a while, and it's right here in Rise, right here in really her hometown crowd. She resides in the Orlando area currently. And Ariel Monroe, she had a great 2018. We saw her debut in Shimmer. We saw her tag team with hashtag Swole Family with Lil Swole, Nicole Savoy, the Shimmer champion. We saw them tag at Rise 7. We saw Ariel have a couple of victories here in Rise on Ascent. We saw her take on Jenna Van Muscles and come up just short. So Ariel's looking to get back on a winning track. And in fact, at Legendary, well, if both women make it to Legendary, we'll see if Ariel Monroe is able to get out of this chin lock. Third time's going to do it. And no.
Ooh, she still has some life left in her.
We know the stage is set for Legendary. This is the final stop on the road to Legendary. Mercedes Martinez in the main event, Ariel Monroe in the Rise of the Contender match. One of 30 women vying for a shot at the Phoenix of Rise at a future Rise event, and they'll have the opportunity to name the event where they will challenge for the Phoenix of Rise. So this could mean a lot to Big Swole, not just today, a victory here, but a victory in Rise of the Contender. That puts her in great positioning to possibly one day be the 6th Phoenix of Rise.
Nice flurry of strikes right there from Ariel Monroe, but still very worn down. She's been on the receiving end of a lot from Mercedes Martinez thus far in the matchup. Charges into the corner, though.
Straight shot, Ariel Monroe. She's got to be building that momentum, but no, Mercedes cuts it off. Or does she?
Inverted atomic drop.
Welcome to Manhattan. Welcome to the headbutt.
Putting her head to use. And plants her face first this time. Has the leg hooked.
I've heard her call that pop the trunk before. Not enough to put Mercedes away. She nearly defeated Nicole Savoy with that very maneuver at Rise 6.
Has the support of the fans here in the Orlando area. Encouraging Ariel Monroe here in this non-title matchup. She can somehow pull out a victory here. Off the ropes she comes. Mercedes grabs hold of her.
Could be looking to drop her on her head again like she did earlier. Got her down with a flatliner variation. Dave, that's got to be it. Did she beat the Phoenix of Rise?
No, only 2. Needs to stay on her, though. She's got Mercedes Martinez down right now. Has to capitalize on this opportunity.
And the crowd is right there behind the very charismatic, the youthful, the intelligent, the athletic, the amazing Big Swole Ariel Monroe. Does she have what it takes to best the Latina Sensation? The 5th Phoenix of Rise drops her on her head with a Saito suplex.
Back to her feet, going for a second, it looks like. 2 Saito suplexes from Martinez.
One of those would be enough to finish virtually any competitor. There's 2 and a 3rd German release suplex for good measure. The Latina Sensation's got to be scouting victory at this point, Dave.
A trifecta of suplexes from the Latina Sensation. And now maybe thinking about that Fisherman Buster.
Cradles the leg. Ariel Monroe inside cradle. Small package. 1, 2, no!
Excellent counter of the Fisherman Buster. Sidesteps a charging Martinez.
Ripcord clothesline does not connect. Powerbomb by the Latina Sensation.
Folded her in half, but only got 2. Somehow Monroe able to kick out.
What a match, Dave. Today's best versus tomorrow's brightest right here in this ring in Winter Park, Florida. Phoenix of Rise, Mercedes Martinez. Young up-and-comer, Big Swole, Ariel Monroe. What's it going to take for one of these two women to not come out with the victory? What's it going to take to put one of them down for the count, for the submission? This is one hell of a contest, Dave.
Looks like Mercedes might be going for a submission here.
We've seen her use this before. Surfboard Dragon Sleeper. This was one of the ways she submitted Tessa Blanchard in the several falls she won in that 75-minute Iron Woman match.
Ariel able to fight out of it, though. She felt it coming and elbowed her way free before Mercedes could lock it in.
Desperation strike, Ariel Monroe down on the ground. Where are both women in this match? Both women the worse for wear, dazed, confused. No matter how good of an athlete either one of these two women are, at this point in the match, they've got to be thinking endgame, but also they're gassed. They're out of gas. They're beaten up. They've got to keep thinking, but it's hard to think when you can barely breathe.
Ariel trying to pull up a almost lifeless Mercedes Martinez on the floor, trying to bring it back inside the ring.
And this, I'm hesitant to call it maybe an on-the-run strategy. That strategy is what won Mercedes Martinez the Phoenix of Rise. If you watch that epic 75-minute Iron Woman match, the final almost got her. The final 5 minutes or so of that match, Mercedes Martinez, it was that strategy of getting to the floor, taking the advantage of the clock and the time and the rules. Say no matter what you will about the tactics of Mercedes Martinez, she was on the winning end of the longest one-on-one match in women's wrestling history, and she is the 5th Phoenix of Rise.
Ariel Monroe looking to follow up here, trying to pull Martinez up.
Front face lock. Maybe, what's she looking for here, Big Swole?
Took too much time, roll up by Martinez. But they're in the ropes.
And those ropes are a very dangerous place for Mercedes Martinez, as we've seen in Rise, that those ropes kind of why they're not there, but ropes are not. Fisherman Buster cinches her down on her head, Dave.
This could be it right here, going for the cover now. And she got her. Mercedes Martinez is your winner. A solid outing by Ariel Monroe during that matchup. Wasn't able to get that non-title win in this matchup, but she has another opportunity to prove her worth as part of that Rise of the Contender matchup at Legendary.
The road has been paved. The stage is set. We will see you March 29th on Fight TV, Fight apps across all major computer and mobile platforms, as well as rise-wrestling.com/IPTV. We will see Big Swole and Rise of the Contender. In the main event, Mercedes Martinez, the 5th Phoenix of Rise, defending in a no-rope submission-only match against Kylie Ray and so much more. Thank you for joining us on Ascent. Thank you for joining us on the road to Legendary. We will see you March 29th.